that truck before. Although, fixing that radiator leak,
That seemed pretty smooth.
it wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad. The only thing that kind of sucked is I had to drive a couple different parts stores to actually find the part, but whatever. If I would have done any planning, I could have just ordered it. But it's still, I think the reservoir leaks, but only after it gets so full. So maybe sometime we'll get a new reservoir for it, but I'm not too worried about it. It doesn't overheat anymore. That's what matters. So
Yeah, that's the important part.
I don't dump about 3 gallons of
Yeah, that was
antifreeze
just
on the
getting
driveway.
expensive, honestly.
Yeah.
All
It was
antifreeze.
getting the cheapest antifreeze I could buy.
Yeah, because it didn't matter.
No.
It's just gonna go at the bottom.
I'll be honest with you, it still has the cheapest antifreeze I could buy in it, but fuck
Who
it.
needs expensive antifreeze? I always buy the correct antifreeze for my truck.
It was supposed to have the orange,
Yeah, the Dex something.
but it's got the shitty
That's what I always buy.
Prestone. But also, you're not supposed to mix them. So after I started putting that in, it's like, well, this is it.
So you can drain your whole system, flush it, clean it out.
I won't be doing that.
It's not too bad. I flushed mine. Dude, I did
It's
it.
not too bad. It's just getting to the bottom hose. There's not a drain valve. It's the stupidest shit.
I know.
I had to take my wheel off.
I think my water pump went out, so I had to fuck with a bunch of stuff. So I went ahead and just like flushed my whole system while I was at it. I did everything so right. I went and bought gallons of distilled water instead of running
God love
tap
ya.
water through it. I was like, I can't believe myself. Look at me doing things the right way.
Yeah, for that. Well, when we took the water, when we fixed that pipe, it was a Y pipe that came together on 2 sides, and then the one side went right into the water pump. And that from the Y to the water pump was just a little something like that. And the whole thing was that old piece, that old Y, was like a factory connection that they made up somehow to where it wasn't like, it didn't have like hose clamps. It was like a hard, solid piece of plastic. So as soon as they start leaking, you're done.
Yeah.
And I come to find out that is like super common. That part was on the shelf. It wasn't even, it's a replacement barbed Y that you can just cut the pipes and put them all back. But when we went to drain, I was like looking and I'm like trying to figure out how we're going to drain this bitch. Because you got to get it pretty low if we're going to the water pump.
Yeah.
He's like, take your wheel off. The
Keep your
video.
mouth closed.
Yeah, take your wheel off, take this whole, and we're like, no. So he just took and sliced the whole pipe, that little piece from the water pump. And that's like way up in the engine bay. And I'm down on the ground with a bucket trying to fucking, and eventually I'm like just trying to get the worst of it.
Yeah, because it's going everywhere.
It's like shit.
Grabbing the squeegee.
But we actually did quite a, because he has, that's something we probably ought to get, is one of those real shallow trays versus just cardboard. Especially for something like when we had the old Exxon Valdez move.
Why is it so hard well, really, it's that fucking, I should just buy a $10 catch pan.
Yeah.
Instead of using that beat to shit one that came with the house.
It's the challenge. It works fine when the wind isn't blowing at 30 miles an hour.
But it always is. It's like the day I'm like, well, time to change my oil. I walk outside, I'm like, fuck. This isn't going to go great.
You're hanging onto your truck with one hand and putting the oil filter on with the other. Yeah. Well, that was fun. What's up next? God love them.
This has been Car Talk on NPR.
Oh, I didn't listen to it yet. 20,000 Hertz put out a new podcast about pirate radio, and I'm stoked.
Oh, that sounds
I
cool.
fucking love the concept of pirate radio.
It's really cool. Did you?
I've listened to a couple other ones, like
Yeah.
especially the thing where they like had the cruise ship off the coast of the UK. That's a very.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I've just.
It's about that. It's called Pirate Radio. It's good. It's kind of like a comedy, but kind of
I'd have to
factual.
check it out.